Trading trend lines can be extremely profitable, but you'll see many people putting them down. It's because they don't know how to identify the trend lines correctly. I have developed an easy step-by-step way to identify the highs and lows that you will be connecting trend lines to. To get you to be able to understand which connecting points to use, I have to explain something that I've came up with called anchored lows and highs. This is a diagram with price going up, making higher highs and lower lows. All right, now I put the lower lows and higher highs on the chart. So this one is going to be an anchored low. Now, why is it an anchored low? Because if you were to draw a straight line from this lower low here all the way across to the previous higher high, this low would have touched that higher high there. Previous high, draw a line, touches it. That makes it an anchored low. Now, look at this one, also an anchored low. Now, anchored lows and highs are going to be your connecting points. See there, you connect it there, and then there. You want to use this one because this one isn't an anchored low. You just connect those two, and then when price comes back down, it will touch into there, and then that is a high odds trade. I always like to teach in the live market. That way you're able to see how it develops in the moment, because replay is all right, but it doesn't quite do it quite justice now, doesn't? So just like this one was. This is the live market right now. You can see here, these are both anchored. You have a previous low here. Boom, touched it. So that I can use this as a connecting point. And then right here, this one came to this low right here, right? So connector point. And then once it breaks this one, voila. And then this is not an anchored low, right? Then low is down here. So you can't connect it there yet. That's why if you were to connect these two together, you're going to get a false break. And then you see here, price just now reversed all the way back down to the previous high right there. You see that? To create an anchor low. Now you have an anchor low. Now what's going to happen is that price is going to come up like this. It's going to come down, and then it's going to go up. And then you'll have these connecting points here that you can connect. The price has came down. It touched into this anchored low here, right? That's an anchored low. So now we can connect this one to this new anchored low here. And then now price is moving up as it should. Whenever a new anchored low is created, in this example, it originally was this one to this one. It broke it. You're going to just adjust the trend line, because price is dynamic, right? It's constantly moving, changing. It's always doing something. You have to be flexible with it and move and make adjustments as needed. We had an anchored low, anchored low. I'm going to take half this position off as it goes my way. Now you're seeing the power of anchored lows. Now I've showed you examples now, great trades. This one taking out the high here. I'm going to take one more off. Created a new anchored low, right? So now we can connect that, because this low right here, this candle, came back to what? The previous high. So that makes it an anchored low. Boom. Easy money, guys. So now we just keep continuing up. We started all the way from back here, remember? And then we moved to here. And then we connected these two. And then it formed a new one here. So then we connected that. And then we had this one. Then we connected that. And now we are kicking ass, taking names as we should, because that's how we do it. So that's profit target hit for me. So I'm going to go ahead and exit, and then hopefully I get a new anchor low touch to this trend line here. That way I can enter. If it breaks this, then I should be expecting that the underlying outside anchored trend line might offer support. Here we go. We have price coming down. Where's the previous high? That's what you should be looking at first. It's right here. So is price coming down to this area? Check. It did, yes. A lot of times it likes to go to the close of that candle. So boom, now it's forming a low, right? So as long as this holds, we can enter when it turns green here. Next candle opens, 1 second. We just want to make sure that this candle is moving upward, not downward. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and enter long there. Stop goes right below there. Because we're waiting to see it work, our risk is very minimal. Very, very minimal. Now you have 2 new anchored lows here. So you're just gonna connect these new ones together like this. Boom. Then we're risking very little here. I have it way zoomed in. It's about 5 points with NASDAQ, which isn't much. Now we want to see it move up, and then as it gets about 2 times my risk, or 1.5 times my initial risk, which my initial risk is 5 points. So 7 there's 5, 6. All right, I'm gonna take one contract off there. That way, if it dips back down, I can add it back on again. And then the next one is how to predict reversals using trend lines. This one also has some nuances to it, because if you just chose every trend line, you would get a bunch of false signals on breaks. And sometimes they're not false signals. Your expectations are just off. You're expecting it to go way, way back, but it's just a small pullback. All right, so I went ahead and exited there because it broke this low, but there's multiple anchored lows here, right? There's this one, came back to that high. So you need to check to make sure that it's not working off of that one, which I would say, no, it's not. But then you also have this one. So you have this low, that one. So the lower the time frame, the harder it is. All right, so that is an official break, right? So we could have been more aggressive and went ahead and used this one here and got a better entry on the trade. But that's okay. That's part of it, and that's all right. The previous lows right here, right? So I'm going to take one off as it comes into that area, because it could bounce here and create a new anchored low, and then which we would connect that to that, and that could be a next leg up. See how it's coming back to these original anchored lows? That's why I leave them on my chart. We can take this one. This is an anchored high because it touched into that low. And then this one is not, but we're just going to be using this as a way to not stay in a trade that's not in our favor. So broke the trend line. So that's like a warning. Hey, this trade might not be in your favor anymore. And it came back to this anchored low. See there how it's failing here? It's likely to break through this now. And by using the anchored lows, it gives us a heads up. Like, price already moved through this once. It's probably likely to fail. It's giving you a heads up. So I'm gonna go ahead and enter short there. Stop goes above that high. Easy money, right? Now the only anchored lows that are left are way down here. That's likely where price is going. Gives us an opportunity for a really big trade here. You have an anchored high here because you have this low, right? Here's your low. It's your anchored high. Now we connect that to that. And then this is an anchored high because it could touch this low on a really low time frame. That would be, candle would be a low. And now, boom, now we have a new trend line. Now we can delete this one as dust. No longer works. So now by using the anchored lows, right, we know that this line broke here. So now we should be focused on anchored highs. So we have one there and then another one there. And then we just connect those, and then they should continue to hold. And then we can either add in, if it comes back to it, we can add it back into the position, or we can take off depending on what we want to do. We can even move our stop down and see, we know where price is going. It's going to come somewhere near this trend line here. So that's how we're going to use it, is like a way to predict reversals by proximity of the trend line. That will help a lot. And then knowing where previous highs are at. If we're constantly looking for where anchor lows might be forming, it's going to help your mind shift and start looking for those things in price. So I'm already looking like, where is a previous low to the left? There isn't any left. You have this one, but we're already well within this consolidation here. And then boom, easy money, right? It's most likely going to come here. And this way we're using it to anticipate where price is likely to go. Price moved up, came back down to here. Take that line, connect it to previous high. Oh, previous high. And then price moved up here, came back down where? To previous high, which is right here. So anchored low. And then price moved up here, came back there. where to the previous high, and then eventually it broke that previous high, and now there's nowhere else for it to go except for maybe here or here. All right, so I went ahead and closed that trade. Now it has finally touched that original anchored low trend line. I'm gonna go ahead and look to enter long now. This is probably one of the best strategies you're gonna find to get funded with. And if you are interested in getting funded for the best companies that fund traders, it is verifiedfundingcompanies.com. Once you head to the homepage here, if you click up here, it will take you to buy trader funding discounts. So these are all funding companies I trust, I use, I have verified them myself. You can get a 50K account with Bullnox, for example, for about 50 bucks. Apex Trader about the same, 45, somewhere around there. Take Profit Trader, 40% off and no activation fee. Top Step Trader, and so on. So all these companies I trust. And then I also do live trading 3 times a week, and then analysis 3 times a week. If you check out my page and you go to lives, you can see here 6 days a week I am on here trading live with my members. So definitely check that out. And you can find trend lines everywhere in price. That's also an issue here. Like I could draw one there. I could, you know what I'm saying? So that's why using these anchor lows are so important. And that is it, guys. I appreciate you watching. Please comment below if you found this valuable, and thank you for watching.